guys. Welcome to week 2 of the league. This is your commish speaking, and again, going to get right into it. Power rankings. A lot of stuff happened last week. Well, not really that much. Some blowouts. Not really that many close games. Some that seemed kind of close, but then they kind of pulled away towards the end. We did have a couple of chokes, but not too many really bad ones, except for Nate, who didn't start Gronk. But other than that, everyone kind of started their studs and, played the best that they could. But let's get right into the power rankings. Coming in at number 12, still at number 12, you got Joe's SC Titans Elite. They lost last week, and they didn't really show anything. Again, Joe's trying to make some moves. But again, this team is just it's a long way from competing. But again, you can never count Joe out. He always seems to find a way to kind of just squeak by and make it into the playoffs. So we'll see if Joe can get a win this week, maybe get him out of the bottom here. We'll get into his matchup a little bit later. Coming in at number 11, still number 11, the Wisconsin Bunny Bangers. Nate he kind of choked last week. I think he would have won had he started Gronk instead of Tunyon, and maybe a couple other guys that he didn't start. Aaron Rodgers, just had a trash game. So, it's the Packers. You never know what they're gonna do, but he's the Packers guy here. So if the Packers do well, this team will do well. If the Packers don't do well, this team won't do well. So it's kind of how it's going to go for the Bunny Bangers this season. Coming in at number 10, we got the French Quarter Quailmen. And they lost last week, but who did they lose to? They lost to the Tiger Sharks by about 20 points. Fairly close game, but he only put up 116 points, so it's not really what you want to see out of the Quailmen. Hopefully they can do a little bit better this week. Coming in at number, I always mess this up because I'm used to doing 10. Coming in at number 9, moving down, you have the Washington Wise Guys. I don't know what's going on with this team. They lost to the Voyagers last week. They had a good start, but this week they've already got a bunch of points from Thursday's game. So it looks like they should have a win this week, but until they get that win, they're going to stay down near the bottom of the barrel here on the power rankings. Coming in at number 8, you got the LA Finesse. They played the Voyagers this week. The Finesse won last week. Who did they beat? They beat Joe. So, and they only put up 133 points last week. And had an easy game. Now he's got the Voyagers this week. We'll see how E-Man and the Finesse do. Maybe he can move up these power rankings. Coming in at number 7? Yeah, coming in at number 7. Sorry, guys. We have the Tampa Bay Tiger Sharks. They won last week. They put up a decent amount of points, 137. That's usually around what you want to get. They did play the Quailmen again, so kind of like a cupcake game almost to some of us. Coming in at number 6, you have the Trentham Trolls. They beat the crap out of the Bunny Bangers, but the Bunny Bangers only put up 77 points. So, and this team scored 128, which is that's respectable. But going up against the Bunny Bangers, we still don't really know what this team is yet. They'll have a tougher matchup this week. A little bit tougher against the Quailmen. So we'll see how they do. But for now, they're going to stay here at number 6. Moving up the board, though, we have a big change in the top 5. Coming in at number 5, we have the Hickory Grove Heaters. They put up the most points in the league last week. They put up, 160, I think? Matt's squad? Yeah, 160 versus the Smeagol's. And the Smeagol's put up 122, which is, it's not a gimme type of score. Matt's team outplayed their prediction or predicted scores, but the Heaters move up to number 5. Moving down to number 4. Big change in the top 3 here. To number 3, we got the Philadelphia Smeagol's. They took a loss last week, and they have another tough matchup this week. We'll see what this team can do. Normally, the Smeagol's don't stay down for long as they try to chase that belt. And speaking of belts, coming in at number 2, sorry, but the Long Island Roondogs coming in at number 2. They also took a loss last week. They only put up 97 points as King Henry couldn't get it going. They played the Dumpster Fire, who we'll get to in a second. I'm sorry. The Heaters are number 4. I'm sorry. The Heaters are number 5. Smeagol's are number 4. Mandy, you're at number 3. Sorry, that's not number 2. Mandy at number 3 here as they took a loss to the Dumpster Fire, who are now at number 2 in the power rankings. Coming into week 2, they just put on a show, put up 152 points, and they have another big matchup this week. We'll see if they can keep that thing going and keep my prediction on, on track. And at number 1 power rankings, the Vietnam Voyagers. They got to win against the Wise Guys, and they play the Finesse this week, so they should have a good shot to go 2-0 to start the season. But again, this team is not infallible. Okay, this team does have some quirks to work out, but for now, some changes here and there. But for now, these are my power rankings this week. Again, the top 5 are again very, very close, and that 9 to 6 are very close. The bottom 3 are just the bottom 3. All right, moving on to the standings. Again, first week of the season, everyone's playing in their within their conference, division, whatever you want to call it, for the first 3 weeks of the season. The Voyagers and the Finesse, the Tiger Sharks, the Trolls, the Heaters, and the Dumpster Fire all won their first games, while the Wise Guys, Titans Elite, Quailmen, Bunny Bangers, Smeagol's, and Roondogs all took a loss. So, again, these are all going to be in division matchups the first 3 weeks of the season. And then we start to get into some craziness. All right. Now what we've all been waiting for, the matchups. Matchup number 1. We got the LA Finesse flying all the way out to Vietnam to play the Voyagers. Both teams coming off a win last week. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be a close game between the two. I think what it may come down to is if Eric Kendricks can play for the Vikings. At the linebacker spot. If not, I'll have to make a quick pickup tonight before the game start, and we'll see there. But he's got Patrick Mahomes, and I've got Burrow, so that's going to be a tough game. But the rest of the Voyagers team is pretty stacked, so we'll see what happens here. Whoever wins this game takes control of the West. Matchup number 2. We got the Tampa Bay Tiger Sharks flying up to Wisconsin to play the Bunny Bangers. The Tiger Sharks took a win last week, while the Bunny Bangers are they look like ass last week. So maybe, hopefully Nate can actually pick a solid starting lineup and field a team that can take on these Tiger Sharks. If Rico wins this, he might be at the top of the Central. Matchup number 3. We got the French Quarter Quailmen at 0-1 flying out to Trenton, which is in Texas, and the Trolls, who are also 1-0. So if the Trolls win this and the Tiger Sharks also win, we'll have two 2-0 teams in the Central and 2 0-2 teams in the Central. But if the Bunny Bangers and the Quailmen pull out a win, upset wins, then the Central would be all 1-1, and again, just like I thought it would be, a complete bloodbath throughout the rest of the season. So we'll see what they can do here. This is a big matchup, rivalry game, new rivalry, like to see it. All right, matchup number 4. We got the Philadelphia Smeagol's at 0-1, taking a short trip over to Long Island to play the Roondogs, who are also at 0-1. Both teams look to be the top of the East, but both of them took losses last week. One of them is going to start the season 0-2. But again, just like we saw last year, I think the Roondogs started maybe 0-2 or 1-3, and they still came on at the end of the season to win the championship. So just like Mandy said in her predictions video, that you can start the league, or I'm sorry, start the season terribly and still come back and win it all. So it's not over, until about week 6 or 7 or so. But if you start 0-2 in the East, which is tough, that's going to be probably the toughest division this year, just based on talent. That's going to be hard to come back from. So this is a very important battle here early in the season for both of these teams. One of these teams is going to start 0-2. That's going to be a pretty tough hole to dig out of. Matchup number 5, rivalry game of the week. We all know this rivalry. We got the SC Titans Elite at 0-1, flying up to Washington to play the Wise Guys, who are also 0-1. One of these teams will start 0-2 in the West, which isn't, again, the toughest to really dig yourself out of. But it is going to be one of these, it's going to be like a top-heavy type of division. So you really don't want to start 0-2 in the West, or you may just be digging your own grave and might as well be looking at next season. But the rivalry game, we got Joe and Tebow, co-workers, old co-workers, current co-workers. I'm not sure if they still work together, but good buddies facing off, but not today. Not buddies today. Matchup number 6 in Mandy's game of the week. You have the 1-0 Hickory Grove Eaters taking a short drive down the road to Columbia to play the Dumpster Fire, who are also 1-0. Two of the best scoring teams in week 1, facing off in week 2 to take control of the East. One of these teams will be 2-0 in the East, which is huge. If the Heaters can pull off the not as big upset as everyone would think, but if the Heaters can start 2-0, look out for Matt in the playoffs, because this team is sneakily good. While the Dumpster Fire have, well, ironically, they've got talent everywhere on this team again. So whoever wins this controls the East, and this is a big time matchup in the game of the week. And moving on to, again, these are Mandy's picks. Thank you, Mandy, for your predictions video very early. And as you can see, we got last week Tebow went 3-3 on his picks, so we're at 50%. Let's try and get that up, guys. I think the best that I ever did in a season predicting every game was like 63 or 64%, something like that. Way seasons back. So let's try and beat that this year, guys. Don't make picks on bullcrap. Make picks on what you actually think is going to happen, which I think Mandy did this week, because she actually chose her team to lose to the Smeagol's. So Mandy's got the Voyagers over the Finesse. She's got the Tiger Sharks over the Bunny Bangers. She's got the Quailmen over the Trolls, which I'm saying is a rivalry, according to the chat. And this is the upset alert of the week. If the Quailmen can take care of the Trolls, then the Central is going to be nuts. She's got the Smeagol's taking over her own Room Dogs, which it's tough to do. It's tough to predict your own team losing. I know Tebow picked his Wise Guys to win last week, and it didn't work out for him. So, maybe Mandy saw that and thought, hey, let's be more objective. In the rivalry game of the week, she's got the Wise Guys over the Titans Elite. And in the game of the week, she's got the Dumpster Fire taking over the Heaters. Now, again, the game of the week, this is a big game in the East and in the whole league, because one of those teams are going to start out 2-0, and they're control the East. And if you get a 2-0 lead in the East in division games, that's big time. Big time. So we'll see how Mandy does. Hopefully we can get this overall percentage predictions up. And on to, finally, golf. We got a new board this week. I had to kind of create a new golf board. Cut and paste there. Sorry about my editing skills, but I think it looks pretty good. But again, this is based on the in-sleeper weekly report that comes out. I don't do that. The Sleeper app generates that itself. And again, if you have, like, say, the best scoring wide receiver and the best running back or scored the most points, you get a birdie. If you have, say, the worst the worst defense or you left a guy on the bench that scored the most points, then you get a bogey. And we tally all of those up. There's around 23 or 24 different categories, and those points and birdies and bogeys are divvied up among everybody, and we compile them here and we take over the score. So after hole number 1, or week 1, we got Matt sitting at the top at 4 under par. Crazy. Again, when you score the most points in a week, you're probably going to have the best running back, quarterback, most points, all of that stuff, biggest blowout, all of that stuff. So he started out strong, 4 under par. Tied for second, we got P-Man, Hunter, and Germ, all at 2 under par. I would be 3 under if I didn't have 2 kickers on my squad, but I traded my kicker to E-Man, no less. So honestly, really just for the golf, just so I could not have a best kicker or a bench warmer kicker. So tied for second, we got those guys. In 5th place, we got E-Man at 1 under par. Tied for 6th, we got Tebow and Graydon, who both went even. That's not to say that they didn't put anything up. I think Graydon didn't have any awards or what do you call them? Punishments or whatever they would be, non-awards. He just didn't, nothing. He was just nothing. But I think Tebow got a birdie and a bogey. So he's still sitting at even. Number 8, we got a 3-way tie. For 8th, we got Joe, Rico, and Dan, all at just 1 over par. And then at the bottom, we got tied for 11th, we got Mandy and Nate, who, again, both teams just really underperformed. Nate, again, he got, the tight end bench warmer, so because he left Gronk on the bench. So that's why they are sitting at the bottom of these standings now. So again, this is what the board looks like this year. Hope you guys like it. And yeah, that's about it, guys. So good luck this week. I'm going to put this video out a little bit earlier than normal. Good luck this week. And yeah, good luck.